Hey guys, in this video we are diving into the geometry of the guitar fretboard using color to reveal these interval patterns. And in the previous videos of this series, we looked at a couple of intervals 1 in sharp 4/flat 5, as well as intervals 4 and 5 in different keys. And while those are very useful intervals in a lot of patterns in music, we're going to focus on another pair of intervals in this video, which are the 3 and flat 6. They're powerful intervals because they show up in a lot of melodies and chords. Before, though, we jump into how these notes are laid out on the fretboard and how to play them on the instrument, let's look at the actual theory behind these intervals and how they work in music. So looking at the key of C, for example, these two intervals are evenly spaced on either side of the tonic, or interval 1, the C red square note. So in this case, 3 is the yellow square E, and the flat 6 is the blue square A flat. Both of these intervals, these two notes, straddle intervals 4 and 5, or the subdominant 4 and the dominant 5 interval in this key, which in turn straddle the sharp 4/flat 5 or tritone in the key, which is the F sharp/G flat note, or the green square. In the key of C, these three intervals, 1, 3, and flat 6, form a perfect triangle of primary colors. Red, C, is 1, yellow, E, is 3, and blue, A flat, is flat 6. And they're evenly spaced like this because they're all separated by 2 whole step intervals. The 3 interval is often called the major third because it's in the tonic's major scale, so it sounds especially consonant. It's also sometimes called the mediant because it's found midway between the tonic and the dominant note. Mediant meaning in the middle. The flat 6 is often called the minor sixth because it's not in the tonic's major scale, it's minor, so it doesn't get as much play in a given key. And of course, these same principles, these same interval patterns apply to all 12 keys, but we're just looking at the key of C right now as an example. Now, when the notes are laid out in a circular formation like this, where the chromatic scale forms a ring, it's easy to see how these intervals form a perfect triangle of intervals like this. But they also form a very interesting pattern on the guitar fretboard when the strings are tuned to the standard tuning. So check this out. In the key of C as an example, when you fade all the other notes to focus on just intervals 1, 3, and flat 6, or notes C, E, and A flat, the red, yellow, and blue squares, you can see how the notes form stacks that are slanted to the left. And when you condense all the frets so that they're evenly spaced, so that the fretboard looks more like a chessboard, you can see this pattern even more easily. So visually, these intervals form an interesting pattern on the fretboard, but what do they sound like? Well, let's play them in the key of C as a first example, and you'll hear that they sound very consonant, and there's almost kind of an epic feel as you move from one to the next. So in the key of C as a first example, so we're going to start with the open 6th string, the E. We're going to go up to the 4th fret, A flat, so. Let's play that again. Now let's play these notes in the key of G, where G, the red-orange circle, is 1, B, the yellow-green circle, is 3, and E flat, the blue-purple circle, is the flat 6. So we start on the 6th string, 3rd fret. Now let's move to the key of D, where the orange square D is 1, the green square F sharp is 3, and the purple square B flat is flat 6. And together, these three notes form a perfect triangle of secondary colors. So now let's move to the key of A, where A, the orange-yellow circle, is 1, C sharp is the green-blue circle, that's 3, and then F, the purple-red circle, is flat 6. And together these form a perfect triangle as well. So we start on the 6th string, the 1st fret is F. And of course, we could just keep playing the same pattern from one key to the next, since they all follow the same geometric sequence. Now, at this point, what we're playing doesn't sound especially musical, right? Because we're not playing full scales or melodies or chords. These are just interval patterns, geometric interval patterns across the fretboard. So the reason we're doing this is we're getting a feel for the layout of the notes and the different intervals to be able to navigate and move our finger swiftly from one position to the next, because all of these positions are informed by the underlying geometric patterns at play here that are consistent in all 12 keys. Now, talking about intervals 1, 3, and flat 6 specifically, you'll notice a special connection between the different keys due to the spacing of the intervals in each one. And specifically, since each group of 1, 3, and flat 6 notes forms a perfect triangle, these same simple polygons are repeated in various keys, so that really only 4 basic patterns of major thirds and minor sixths emerge. It's beautiful. And now you can see even more how all the keys form an intricate array of perfect geometric symmetry. And the same symmetry extends to the other intervals as well, as we'll look at in the next video, where we're going to focus on intervals flat 3 and 6, which sound so good in each key. I'll see you there.